Hi everybody, it's Anthony Morrison and welcome to this week's edition of the Weekly Blog. So listen, I've got something really interesting that I want to share with you this week that I think will kind of get your mind turning and get you focused on what's really important and obviously some of the easiest ways for you to excel and be even more successful in everything that you do. And I want you to realize that when I do these weekly blogs, it doesn't always pertain just to internet marketing. You know, some of these techniques and strategies and ways of thinking, you know, you can apply to relationships, your other businesses, and just your everyday life, situations you encounter in your everyday life. So it's important to pay close attention to them. And if you look on the board here, I've got this question. Is your ideal world killing your success? So if you think about that, kind of maybe it doesn't make sense to you at first, but I guarantee you by the time I'm finished with this blog, you'll understand what I mean. And what I mean by this is your ideal world killing your success. We all get wrapped up in this ideal world. That's what I call it anyway, right? Just this ideal way that we should be. If you're a sports fan and you have children that are playing baseball or they're playing football, they have these idols, right? These ideal baseball players that they look up to and they aspire to be like. If you're a business person, right, then you look up to CEOs and successful business people, right? And they're kind of in your ideal world. You'd love to be just like them. If you're in real estate, maybe you look up to Donald Trump, right? And you want to be just like him. And that's great. That's absolutely wonderful. You know, having an ideal world is what gives you inspiration to always strive to do better. But here's what happens with a lot of people. They have this ideal world, this perception of what success really is, and that is reaching this ideal world level, right? And what happens is they start going, they get going, whatever they're doing. If it's a baseball player, you know, it practices and maybe makes his first all-star team and hits 20 home runs, right? And what happens is that those people, they then stop and they look forward and they say, well, I hit 21 or I hit 20 home runs and I made the all-star team, but you know what? My idol, my ideal world up here, you know, he hit 45 home runs and had a higher batting average than me. And you're down on yourself and you're stressed out. And internally, you have a hard time dealing with not reaching that ideal world, right? Same thing in business. You know, if you look up to Donald Trump in real estate, or if because you've watched our blogs and you've seen my TV show and you've seen that I've been successful on the internet, you know, you look at it and you aspire to do the things that I've done. And what's really important is that you stop for a minute, you look over your shoulder and you look back at where you started and where you are today, right? It's not always about where you're going, right? It's where you've come from and where you are today. There's so many people that are watching this blog right now, that are on my live community, that started with nothing. They started not knowing what Google was, not knowing how to make any money on the internet, not understanding affiliate marketing, and maybe they've only made a couple $100s now, right? But instead of looking at it and saying, oh, I'm a failure, I haven't done what Anthony's done, I haven't reached the level that Anthony's reached at, you have to change your way of thinking. You have to look behind you. You have to see where you came from. Then you have to give yourself a pat on the back and congratulate yourself for the success that you've had so far. It's important to have this ideal world to draw goals from. You look at the ideal world, you look at what you really want to achieve, and you pull goals from that, right? If you really want to be like a successful internet marketer, right? Maybe you set a set of goals for yourself. This week I want to make sure I learn Facebook. And this week I want to make sure that I learn to write effective ad copy. And maybe at the end of the week, you haven't reached this ideal goal, right? This ideal world. You haven't been you're not this successful, you know, multi-millionaire internet marketer, but you're a lot further down the road than you were before. And you should congratulate yourself and feel like you've made a huge accomplishment because you're continuing to move forward. It's real important that you constantly stay motivated and inspired to do well, but also that you give yourself credit when it's due. So I encourage you all to stop right now, analyze where you've come from, what you didn't even know before you started reading my books, watching my blogs, and really learning about the internet, and then look at where you are right now. How much have you learned? How much success have you really gained now? And then I want you to reflect on that, feel good about it, and use that as motivation and inspiration to keep going forward and reach your ideal world eventually. Listen, I hope you all enjoy the weekly blog. Make sure that you look right below the video. There's a tweet button and a Facebook button. If you will, click the tweet button, click the Facebook button. That's going to share this with your family and friends and everybody on Facebook. And I look forward to seeing you all here next week on the weekly blog.